A dream from God is different. And in this dream, I saw a field, and there was a big yard by the field. In fact, I played in that yard as a kid. It was Jerry Schaefer's yard where we used to play baseball. And there was a field of corn there. There was a big John Deere combine, 6 rows, and that was big back in 1982. And hopper wagons at the end, and they were rounded over full of corn, just filled. And there were a lot of people in this big yard. They're having a picnic. There were a couple hundred people out there, and kids running and playing, everybody having fun. And this combine, he turned around and he was taking 6 more rows of corn. And a little kid, maybe a year and a half, 2 years old, had toddled out into the cornfield and was right in the first 2 rows there where he was coming. And I yelled, stop, but those are so noisy, you can't hear a thing. And he never saw him. And he ran right over that little kid and just kept going down the field. I ran out there to him. I ran out there to him by myself, and he was lying between 2 rows of corn, face down. I rolled him over, and there was a big cut right here on his neck. And I was amazed that there was nothing else wrong with this child. He had no other injuries. That huge machine just went over him. And that was the only injury he had, was this one really bad cut right here. And the blood was just gushing out. And I put pressure on it right away. I said, "Oh, Lord, help me." And I put pressure on it right away, and I stopped it. I had my hand right there, and he stopped bleeding. And then I yelled, "Get the rescue squad." And I knelt there by myself over that kid. And I looked at him. And I was amazed that this was the only injury he had, but it was going to kill him. And I thought, how are we going to save this kid? If I move my hand for even 5 or 10 seconds, he's going to bleed to death. How are we going to move him? How are we going to save him? I didn't know how. And he was very pale. He was still alive, but he was very pale. And I thought, oh, you are so close to dying. And I waited. And I thought, where's the rescue squad? And I kneeled there, and I waited. And that's how the dream ended. And then the Lord gave me the interpretation. He said, this is what it means. And I think I was still sleeping. I was still in a dream. I wasn't awake. And he said, this is what the dream means. He said, the cornfield is America, a land of prosperity. And the people are happy, and the wagons are full. And he said, the combine is your highly technological society. And in your society, in your greed to get more and more and more, you don't see the little ones, the poor. He said, especially the unborn. And he said, your society just runs them right over. He said, the little boy represents the poor, the lonely, and especially the unborn children that your society is running over in their desire to get more and more and more. He said, you yelled a warning, but nobody heard it because there's so much noise in your society. He said, you represent pro-lifers, and the rescue squad represents other pro-lifers, and you went to the aid of the child. He said, I only let you see that one cut on his throat because that represents abortion. And he said, that sin alone will destroy your society. He said, that has to be stopped, or else your society is doomed. And he said the fact that the boy was very pale indicates that your society is spiritually in a very weak condition. It can go either way, depending on if the rescue squad comes. And he said that's where your society is right now. It could go either way, depending on how we deal with abortion. And so the dream had ended. The child hadn't died, but the rescue squad hadn't come. And like he said, that's the future. Will the pro-lifers, will the Christian people, will they stop this evil?